Dick Cheney, who will now be on the ballot. Some of you read about this. It was really embarrassing. They found a common link between me and Cheney. So the era of Scooter Libby Justice and Brownie incompetence and Katrina and warrantless wiretaps, that era will be over if we win in November. But understand that just because George Bush is on the ballot doesn't mean that we don't have a struggle on our hands. John McCain, the Republican nominee, is a man I admire. He has served our country with honor. He deserves our respect. But John McCain seems to think that he's running for a third Bush term. He's embraced the Bush foreign policy of a war without an exit strategy. He's willing to maybe keep our troops there for another 100 years. If that's his plan for foreign policy, we can't afford John McCain for 4 years. He wants to maintain Bush's economic policies. He examined the Bush record and he said, he thought that under George Bush, the economy had made great progress. Great, this is what he said, great progress. Now, I guess he wasn't talking to the 232,000 people who have lost their jobs since the beginning of this year. He wasn't talking to the guy I met in Youngsville who has three kids with cystic fibrosis and has lost his home and doesn't have health insurance. He must not be talking to the guys I met in Anderson, Indiana, who have lost their jobs because the plane got shipped overseas and suddenly they lose not just their job, but their pension and their health care, and they don't know which way to turn. He must not be talking to the couple that I met in San Antonio, Texas, who are on the brink of losing their home because nobody protected them from predatory lending. He must not be talking to the 47 million people without health insurance. He must not be talking to students who are trying to figure out how to pay for their college education. John McCain may see great progress. John McCain may have decided to support tax policies that favor the wealthy and the powerful, despite him saying when they first came up that they were fiscally irresponsible. He may have forgotten what he said, but we don't. He may think that we've made great progress, but I don't and you don't, and that's why we can't afford 4 more years of George Bush economic policies under the guise of John McCain. But Tar Heels, if we're honest with ourselves, we know that the challenges... we know that the challenges that we face can't be laid at the feet of just one party or one person. Because the truth is that we have been dealing with some of these problems for decades, since before most of you were born. We've been talking about health care since Harry Truman. Decade after decade, we've been talking about how are we going to provide health care to people who need it. And yet, every 4 years, despite the promises, despite the big plans, despite the unveiling of this is the new approach, nothing ever happens. Why is that? Well, part of it is that the drug companies, the insurance companies, spent $1 billion over the last decade on lobbying, on campaign contributions, on PR. So is it any surprise then that the health care laws that emerged from Congress are very good for drug and insurance companies, they're not so good for you? The same is true on energy. We've been talking about energy independence since the 70s. Since I was in junior high. And yet, the only thing that's changed since the early 70s is we actually import more oil. We send $1 billion a day to foreign nations. ExxonMobil made $11 billion in profits last quarter. You're paying $360, $370 at the pump. And in the bargain, we're melting the polar ice caps. Why is that? Well, it turns out when Bush put Cheney in charge of energy policy, Cheney met with the environmental groups once, he met with the renewable energy groups once, he met with the oil and gas companies 40 times. So is it any wonder then that these policies have been very good for oil and gas companies, but they haven't been very good for you? So the point is that it's not enough for us just to change political parties in the White House. And that's what this election coming up on May 6th is all about. Because you have a choice in the primary about what the Democrats will stand for, who we are, what we believe in. And the question is, are we going to have the same old folks doing the same old things in the same old ways, or are we going to try to summon this nation around a common purpose, stop leading by polls, but leading by principles? Stop leading with calculation, but leading with conviction. Stop worrying about how we're going to win an election and start thinking about why we should win an election, what our values and our ideals are. That's what's at stake in this primary election.